Good evening again. Later we'll be talking to the new director of the Dunedin Art Gallery who arrived to take up her post today. But first, rival freezing companies and the Meat Board aren't too happy about the proposal to establish a new round-the-clock freezing works near Mosgiel. But the scheme's being welcomed by at least one union official. Gary Davis, Meat Workers Union Secretary, says a similar works near Ashburton is running well. Michael Lynch reports.
Seafield, near Ashburton, is a new generation freezing works, running shifts round the clock. It'll process more than some conventional four-chain works and has long been regarded as an industry ideal. Fortex, the works owner, plans a similar works here on the Tairi Plain. Some householders downwind and nearby Mosgiel are turning up their noses already, but Fortex claims it'll be virtually odour-free. More importantly, the Dunedin City Council, with its eye to the 500 jobs, is bending over backwards to encourage the works. And the union says it has the chance of a good deal if Seafield's anything to go by.
We don't seem to have many problems with them. They seem to look after their work as well. They pay very good wages. The conditions there on the plant are very good.
Farmers too are in favour of more competition. But other works and the Meat Board say the new plant will just gobble up existing jobs. Only this afternoon, Frisia Meats, the board's investment arm, said it may quit its shareholding in Fortex, alleging overcapacity from the new works and conflict with its shareholdings in the rival Waitaki company.
If you build a new chain with no increase in stock numbers, then you simply take away that many jobs from somewhere else.
Fortex plans to have the works running within a year. Jim Thompson's a bit sceptical. Other details, such as the rate relief it might get from the Dunedin City Council, haven't yet been spelled out.
Fine wool farmers all over Central and North Otago have donated their best fleeces to help cancer victims. Kathy Graham reports the fundraising campaign was the idea of a farming couple from Tarras whose daughter has been under treatment for cancer in Dunedin.
Well, as far as superfine merino wools go, these are the top fleeces from all the fine wool growers in Central Otago and North Otago, and some of the fleeces in here would be as good as any fine wool you'd see anywhere in the world.
And the wool fetched top price at today's auction, $45 a kilo, which makes the 2 bales donated by farmers worth about $6,500. The wool was bought by the top fine wool buyer for an Italian company, the buyer admitting to paying a bit more in a good cause. The money will help pay for this building near Dunedin Hospital, opened last month to accommodate families of cancer victims during their treatment. Mary and Gerald Goodger of Tarras saw the need when their daughter was receiving treatment for cancer and thought of asking other wool farmers for help.
We thought it'd be an easier way than sort of running fundraising, organising fundraising ventures when we were already busy with our child who was under treatment.
With 75 farmers donating top fleeces, the fundraisers turned out to be so successful it seems certain to become an annual event at the wool sale.
And what a great idea. Members of the Cromwell community have done a great job shifting historic buildings from the old part of town. They now stand on higher ground and will overlook Lake Dunstan when it's filled. But, as Mark Price reports, an elderly woman has saved something else of the character of old Cromwell.
It's pink, it has a very pleasant scent, and it's been named the Old Cromwell Rose. It probably has another proper name, but for Muriel Craig and many others, it will always be associated with the old town.
I've still got it here because it's very much part of Old Cromwell, and it grew over the post office as long as I can remember, and I'm nearly 70. So it's very, very old, and I thought it was rather beautiful and didn't want to lose it, so I got some cuttings and they grew for me.
The post office was one of the buildings which didn't make the shift to a new site above the high water mark of Lake Dunstan, but its rose will be around for a while yet, thanks to the efforts of people who've taken cuttings. It's a nice touch, but from a fourth-generation resident, there's still a touch of bitterness that any change at all came to Cromwell.
You just can't wipe out something like that when it's a lifetime and not feel something. I don't like the new structure of the town at all. It's not part of me, I suppose.
Well, what happens when you risk becoming addicted to solvents because of your workplace? A Christchurch occupational physician has discovered printers who show the same symptoms and illnesses as glue sniffers. He says people working with solvents in enclosed spaces risk becoming addicted to the substances.
No way of telling how many workers in New Zealand are suffering from solvent dependency without even knowing about it. Out of 100 printers who answered a questionnaire for a Christchurch doctor, half of them had experienced symptoms similar to glue sniffers.
They're excessively tired, they become depressed, they're prone to wild and impulsive outbursts, They have very short fuses. They have wild swings of mood.
After building up this small business, Graham Duda has been forced to take a back seat because of mental and physical problems caused by solvents. It took a while for doctors to take him seriously. Now ACC are helping to pay the wages for someone else to do the printing.
I'm avoiding working in my workshop at all.
How does that make you feel?
A wee bit frustrated after being a tradesman for many years and having to hand the work on to somebody else.
Graham Duda's health is coming right, although he still experiences short-term memory loss and lack of coordination. But the ACC settlement means he can keep the business he built alive.
It is a fight, it is a confrontation, but the ACC are now showing a degree of responsibility, at least in Christchurch.
The answer, says Dr Turner, is more effort by employers to keep work areas well ventilated and maintained.
Sally Pearce reporting there on solvent addiction. Dunedin's new art gallery director arrived for her first day at work today. She's Cheryll Sotheran, former director of the new Plymouth Art Gallery, and as Kathy Graham reports, her appointment coincides with a new era in the gallery's history.
Contemporary New Zealand art's a special interest of Cheryll Sotheran. She's familiar with most of the country's leading artists and their works. Her background as an art historian and teacher has given her a strong interest in promoting education. And she brings a modern management approach.
I haven't been an arts administrator all my life, and I came to it relatively late, I suppose. And this has given me, in a sense, an advantage in that I've come into art gallery and museum management at a time when it's being recognised that we can't anymore cut ourselves off from community needs and aspirations to do with the arts and culture, and also that we have to adopt various management techniques and approaches, and that does involve us in being much more entrepreneurial than perhaps people who were brought into these positions 20 so years ago. And because I'm relatively new at it, it hasn't been a struggle for me to adopt those new management strategies, and I feel very comfortable with them. And I also feel very comfortable working as a community service department. Maybe people who've been in established art galleries and art museums for longer than I've had feel that perhaps there's some compromise involved in that, but actually I don't feel that at all. I see this as being a community enterprise.
Cheryll says there are a lot of strategies that can be employed, but her first task will be to listen to what the community wants.
And a lovely day it was to start work as well. We'll see you again tomorrow night. Good night.